Hi guys, welcome. So today in News in 30 minutes, let us look at some important issues on 16th of October 2023. Now 16th of October is World Food Day, and on the World Food Day, the theme is mainly concentrated on water. The theme is given as water is life, water is food. This shows the importance of water resources on earth. This shows the importance of water resources, especially during the time of climate change and its consequences. So we need to prepare as much as possible on the realm of water resources. So keep that in your mind. With that, let's get on with the first issue of the day. The first issue is basically Dasara dolls will have a set of founding mothers of constitution in Karnataka. So what is this article? Why have I chosen this article is, one, this article is a creative way to spread awareness. Okay, it is a creative way to spread awareness. The second is, it is a creative way to spread popularity about diversity of India and tolerance in India. Okay, so what is this all about? This is about Reclaim Constitution project. Okay, so it is about Reclaim Constitution project. So what is this project? This project is basically they use Dasara as a medium to popularize constitution and its provisions. Okay, so what are they talking about? Now, as you know, let us just give a glimpse of what is this Dasara. Okay, Dasara is a festival that is celebrated throughout India. Now, there are different stories that connect different parts of India to this festival called Dasara, but the end result of Dasara festival is basically to show how good will always win over evil. How good will triumph over evil. That is the end story. So in North India, the Dasara festival is mainly Rama defeating Ravana. And in South India, the story revolves around deity Chamundeshwari defeating a demon, Mahishashura. Okay, so this is overall the stories. The stories keep changing in different parts of India, but the overall crux is Dasara festival denotes or reflects how good will always triumphant, how good will always win over evil. That's the first thing. The second is this can also be an example of how our customs and traditions will always create values within our society. All right. However, now what is this Reclaim Constitution project? They are using Dasara to popularize constitution. So how are they doing this? Now Dasara constitutes many dolls. So what they are doing is they are creating dolls that depict our freedom fighters. They are depicting dolls that are depicting our founding mothers. Okay, and they are depicting dolls that also has different symbols as well as different personalities that belong to different religion. Okay, by showing different dolls of different religion in Dasara that depicts our tolerance, that depicts our diversity, by showing the founding mothers that depicts our women and their role in Indian society, and by showing the freedom fighters that will instigate a spark in us to love our country more. Overall, this is a very good case study that can be used in your ethics as well as it's a very good example that can be used in your ethics as well as your essay. Okay. Overall, this Reclaim Constitution project is there to, the main objective of this is to spark interest amongst youth in politics as well as policy making. Okay, that is the main idea of this particular project. Okay, however, one thing what you should observe here is founding mothers of constitution. You always heard about founding fathers of constitution, forefathers of our freedom struggle, but this is something that is very interesting. Founding mothers of constitution. So basically what it means is there were 15 women who took part in debate in the Constituent Assembly, who also took part in the drafting of Indian Constitution. It is these 15 women who are called founding mothers of Indian Constitution. So you should know about these women, because as you know, in prelims they can ask you anything abstractly on any freedom fighter. So this 15 you should have a very good idea. Let me show you the 15 mothers of Indian Constitution. So as you can see, the founding mothers of Indian Constitution, these are the 15 names. I'll read out the names. One is Sarojini Naidu. The second is Ammu Swaminathan. The third is Dakshayani Velayudan. The fourth is Begum Aziz Rasool. The fifth is Durgabai Deshmukh. The sixth is Ansa Mehta. The seventh is Kamla Chaudhary. The eighth is Leela Roy. Ninth is Malati Chaudhary. The 10th is Purnima Banerjee. The 11th is Rajkumari Amrit Kaur. The 12th is Renuka Roy. 13th is Sucheta Kriplani. 14th is Vijayalakshmi Pandit. And the 15th is Annie Mascarene. Now, you don't have to by heart all these names, but how to retain this in the memory is, first, just look at the images of each and every founding mother. Once you look at the images, try to find one interesting fact about every founding mother. Okay, there will be few founding mother who are very famous, hence you can find more information. There will be few founding mother who are not that famous, hence information may not be available in plenty. However, find some interesting piece of information that can help you stick that name in your memory for a long time. Okay, now let me give you an example. Okay, if I take Sarojini Naidu, one important fact that will stand out in me is she is the first Indian woman as well as the second woman after Annie Besant to be the president of a session of Indian National Congress, and that Congress session happened in Kanpur. That is one. The next information that I know about Sarojini Naidu is she is known as the Nightingale of India. She is also known as Bharata Kokila. The third information that I know is the books that she has written. It is Golden Threshold, Broken Wings. Another book is Bazaars of Hyderabad. See, these are the three books that Sarojini Naidu has written. The reason why I have so much of information is because she is a very famous personality. But if we take Ammu Swaminathan, she is not that famous a personality, so you will be having scarcity of information. However, you can always find one information that will help you, keep Ammu Swaminathan in your memory. The one information that I found that was interesting was she was awarded Mother of the Year award in 1975 in the inauguration of International Women's Day. So in the inauguration of International Women's Day, she was awarded Mother of the Year in 1975. She was a mother of an Advocate General of the Madras Court. She was also a mother of her daughter was in the army as well as she was a doctor. And she was also a mother of Mridulani Sarabhai, who is also a very famous Bharatanatyam artist as well as actress, and the wife of Vikram Sarabhai. So these are all Ammu Swaminathan's children. However, her award gives me that fact to remember her for a long time. Like this, first look at the images and find some information about them so that will help these names stick in your memory. Okay, if they are very famous, it is important that you know a little bit about them because the questions can appear. If they are not that famous, one interesting fact will do. Okay, so what I will tell you is in YouTube, what you can do is in the comment section, once you see all the 15 founding mothers, whichever founding mother that sparked interest in you, make sure that you post any interesting fact about that founding mother in the comment section. If 15 different users comment about 15 different interesting facts about the founding mothers, that will do good for all our users, and this is how we collaboratively learn together. Okay, so this is about this issue, a good case study and a good information regarding our Indian freedom as well as the Indian Constitution. Let us go to the next one. The next is an article that talks about civil aviation market in India, that is, make the aviation business cost effective. Basically, they are bringing the challenges that civil aviation market in India faces. Before we drop into that civil aviation market and its challenges, let me give you some background of what Indian civil aviation market is. India's civil aviation market is the third largest in the world. India civil aviation market is the third largest in the world, and its potential, okay, its potential is plenty because of two reasons, or it has very high potential because of two reasons. One, because of young demography, and the second is the rising middle class. Okay, so because of these two reasons, we know that the potential of civil aviation market is going to grow even more abundantly, and with a much more greater growth rate. Already we have the third largest civil aviation market. So if you take the supply and demand, from the demand side, we are having very high prospects. Okay, however, though the demand side is having very high prospects, the supply side has a lot of challenges. These are the challenges that we have to overcome if we have to meet India's growth trajectory to become a developed nation by 2047. Okay, so let us see what are these challenges. In this article, there are 5 challenges that the author brings to our attention. The first is the aviation turbine fuel. The cost of aviation turbine fuel is very high in India. Unfortunately, this aviation turbine fuel accounts to 40% of cost of operations for any airlines. When almost 40% is from aviation turbine fuel, and if the cost is very high, that will reduce their profit of margin. This will make operations very difficult for the airlines. So that is one of the important and one of the significant challenges. However, to overcome this challenge, what is one suggestion is bring ATF, that is aviation turbine fuel, under GST. By bringing them under GST, one, the taxes will reduce, and the next is airlines can claim input tax credit. That is the way out to reduce the aviation turbine fuel. This is one of the challenges. The next is airport fees. Now there are broadly fees like landing fees, parking fees, and air bridge fees. Okay, so all these are different fees. But what you should understand is airport unnecessarily puts a lot of fees both on the airlines as well as the passengers. So when you put a lot of fees on airlines as well as the passengers, that will increase the cost of operations. Another problem is by increasing the fees on passengers, that will in turn be directed upon the airlines. Okay, so this is another problem of unnecessary airport fees that is high in India. Okay, and in this the author says the cost of operation because of unnecessary airport fees has come up to 8 to 10% of the cost of operation. That is again huge. Okay, the third is the shortage of pilots. Okay, as you remember, Akasa is a new airlines that started recently, and not though it is started recently, already it is facing this problem of shortage of pilots. There is a very high attrition rate with respect to pilots in Akasa Airlines. This is another problem. When the pilots are resigning, the aircrafts become void, they become less productive, and that in turn will affect the entire cost of operations. The next is aircraft maintenance and repair. Let me give you one more statistics here. 20% of the aircrafts of any airlines, okay, 20% of aircrafts of any airlines are standing without operation in airports because of engine problems as well as lack of mechanics. See, because of engine problems and lack of mechanics, 20% of the aircraft of any airlines is standing in the aircraft without any operation. This costs enormously to the airlines. That is another challenge. So we have to improve our domestic capabilities of engineers and mechanics. That is a way out here. And the last is the duopoly that is prevalent in Indian market, civil aviation market. When I say duopoly, it is Indian civil aviation market is basically dominated by two players, Indigo and Tatas. Tatas control or they have stakes in Air India, Air Asia, as well as Vistara. See, these two players control 90% of the civil aviation market in India. The rest 10% is controlled by SpiceJet, GoAir, as well as the Akasa and other smaller airlines. So this duopoly will create unnecessary favoring towards these large conglomerates rather than creating a level playing field. These are broadly the 5 challenges. So one, we have to bring ATF under GST. Second, we have to make sure unnecessary charges in the airport fees should be reduced, so that 8 to 10% we should bring it down enormously. The third is pilots. We have to make sure that there is no shortage of pilots. The fourth is we have to increase our domestic capabilities with respect to engineers and mechanics. And finally, we have to reduce the monopolistic or duopolistic tendencies that is prevalent in our civil aviation market. So these are the dominant challenges that India faces with respect to its aviation market. Why aviation market is very important is this market helps India move. The more India moves, Indian human resource moves, India will grow. The more India moves, diffusion of entrepreneurship, capital, as well as innovation takes place. That in turn helps India's trajectory towards becoming a developed nation. Hence, civil aviation market plays a very significant role in the growth trajectory of India. So we hope that these challenges are overcome. The next article reads, India adopts global practices to fight bird flu without vaccines. Now see, this it also says the International Regulatory Agency, World Organization for Animal Health, has recently approved India's efforts. Now let me just tell you how to decipher the moment you read an article, how you should ask different questions that will help you seek answers, that in turn will help you in the exam. Now the moment you're seeing India adopts global practices to fight bird flu without vaccines, these are the questions that should come to you. What is bird flu? How is it different from swine flu that you keep hearing? Okay, why should India fight bird flu? Okay, the next is why should India fight without vaccines? Why can't it use vaccines? And the last question is, what is World Organization on Animal Health? See, when you ask such questions when you're reading the article, and when you're able to answer these questions, your entire knowledge about that particular article with the basics comes to you. This is how you have to practice when you're reading newspapers. Okay, so what is a bird flu? Okay, see, birds are usually affected by a group of virus that is known as influenza virus. Okay, this influenza virus usually attacks the birds, and very rarely the transmission of this virus happens from birds to humans. Okay, however, when the birds get affected by this influenza virus, this is known as avian flu or avian influenza. Okay, so avian flu or avian influenza is also known as bird flu. Okay, now amongst this group of influenza viruses, there are two variants that can come or that can transfer from birds to humans. Okay, these two are H5N1 as well as H5N1 as well as H5N8. These are the two variants of influenza virus that can be transferred from birds to humans. Okay, now this is known as it is known as highly pathogenic avian influenza. Okay, it is known as HPAI. Okay, so these are the two variants that can breach the animal boundary and enter the human realm. So this is very dangerous. The reason why these two are very dangerous is they are high fatality rate. They have a very high fatality rate. Okay, so this is with respect to what is a bird flu. So I hope I have answered this. The next is, what is swine flu? When I say swine flu, see, in bird flu, the reservoir of the virus was in birds. In swine flu, the reservoir of the virus is in pigs. Okay, and from pigs, the same influenza virus This is also another variant, but the same influenza virus can spread from the pigs to humans, and the most common one is H1N1. Okay, if you can remember 2009 outbreak of H1N1, that points us to swine flu. So swine flu has reservoirs in pigs, whereas bird flu has reservoir in birds. Both swine flu and bird flu, though the reservoir is changing, they both come from a common group of viruses called influenza virus. H5N1 and H5N8 are bird flus that transmit towards human. H1N1 is a swine flu that can transmit to humans. However, with respect to H1N1, the fatality rate is relatively low compared to H5N1 and H5N8. This is the difference between bird flu and swine flu. The next is why India has to fight this bird flu. Okay, the reason is, see, the statistics that I'll give is given by the Ministry of Animal Husbandry, Fishing and Poultry, and the ministry says that India is the third largest producer of eggs. That is the first statistics. The second is India is the fifth largest producer of poultry. Okay, India is the third largest producer of eggs and fifth largest producer of poultry. That means huge number of birds are produced in India, and these are susceptible to flu, that is avian influenza. Hence, precautions has to be taken. This is the next question. The next is why cannot India fight without vaccines? Now, for this, the World Organization on Animal Health has given a statement telling vaccines cannot be solution for bird flu. They say it cannot be the solution. The reason is long-term usage of vaccinations will create two problems. One is by using long-term vaccinations, it creates high endemicity. It creates high endemicity. The second is it creates antigen or genetic changes in the virus. Okay, so the more and more we start using the vaccines, the disease will become highly endemic. Okay, the next is antigen and genetic changes will start happening within the virus. The virus will start becoming a superbug. The virus will start developing resistance to these vaccines. So the World Organization on Animal Health says to stop it from becoming diseases becoming endemic or diseases becoming more stronger through superbugs, we have to stop using vaccines, as vaccines does not provide us complete solution. We have to make sure that there are some standard operating procedures through segregation, through biosecurity solutions, and through culling, in a way where we can control this spread of bird flu. That is how the World Organization on Animal Health tells. So what has happened, according to the standards set by the World Organization on Animal Health, India is also adopting this global practice to fight bird flu without vaccines. And this is what is approved by the World Organization of Animal Health. Alright, now after knowing everything, it is also pertinent from prelims point of view for you to know what is this World Organization on Animal Health. Again, that is very important. Okay, so if you take World Organization on Animal Health, this you should know that it is an intergovernmental body. It is an intergovernmental body. The second is, so they may ask you in the exam, is it an NGO or is it a civil society organization or is it an intergovernmental body? So you should know it's an intergovernmental body. The next is its headquarters is in Paris. Obviously, it does anything and everything towards animal health. That is common sense. So there is no point of writing English there. The next is, the important is, India is also one of the member. It releases a code called Terrestrial Animal Health Code. Okay. The next is its standards. Its standards are accepted by WTO, World Trade Organization. Okay, and the last is it is popularizing a concept called One Health approach. Why is One Health approach very important is, the reason is, see, if you take Nipah virus, if you take bird flu, if you take swine flu, if you take COVID, okay, if you take everything, you see that the viruses are breaching their animal barrier and are entering into the human barrier. You see that there is some problem happening where this breach of animal to humans transfer is taking place. If we have to stop that breach, if we have to address the zoonotic problem of the diseases spread, then we have to make sure that we adopt One Health approach. One Health approach is basically looking at the health of humans along with animals, along with ecosystem as one. So when we take care of these three dimensions of health, then only we can be able to sustain our livelihood on earth. That is what is One Health approach. Okay, so overall this is all the information that you have to extract when you read a particular article, and I hope I was clear. So I hope I have addressed all these issues. So this is how, when you read an article, ask yourself questions, see if you can seek answers to it. If you're not able to seek answers only through the article, try to research for 5 to 10 minutes and get the answer, not more than that. Okay, so this is about this issue. The last issue of the day is the world needs to stop taking water for granted. As I told you, today, the October of 16th, is the World Food Day, October 16th, and today the theme is water is life, water is food. Okay, this is the theme. Okay, this shows the importance of water in current times. Now this article mainly links water with agriculture. It mainly links water with agriculture. So I'll give you 3 important statistics that is very important for your mains exam. It can come in prelims also, but it is very pertinent that you use this in your answers in mains exam. Water resource as a theme is important in your mains. One question in GS3, one question in GS1 will definitely come on water resources. So please make sure that you have these facts done very well. Okay, the first statistics is the usage of water in India. Okay, if we take the usage of water in India, okay, 89% of 89% of surface water and 92% of groundwater. Okay, I'll repeat again. 89% of surface water and 92% of groundwater is used exclusively for one activity in India, and that is agriculture. Look at this. If we have to develop water use efficiency, if we have to develop water conservation efforts, we have to take steps in agriculture. Without changing our agricultural methodologies, we cannot take steps to conserve water in India. The reason is very simple. 89% as well as 92% of water used in India is solely for one purpose, and that is agriculture. Okay, the second statistics is 60% of net sown area in India is rain fed, and out of this 60% of net sown area that is rain fed, we are getting an extraction of just 40% of total food production. When 60% of the area is able to produce just 40% of the total production, that shows the reduced agricultural productivity. It not only shows reduced agricultural productivity, it also shows wastage of water, or in other words, less efficiency in water use. That is another problem. Okay, so this is the third statistics. Very low water use efficiency and very low agricultural productivity, because 60% of the net sown area is producing only 40% of the total food production. And the third is very interesting. This is basically Government of India. It has used climate projections and different climatic crop simulation models. It has created crop simulation models, and with this crop simulation models, it has come up with a table that shows the impact of climate change. Impact of climate change on Indian agriculture. Okay, the impact of climate change on Indian agriculture. So, if no adaptation measures are taken, let us assume that there is no adaptation measures taken, and let the climate change go as it is. What will be the consequence of climate change on Indian agriculture? This is how they have shown. In 2050, what will happen? In 2080, what will happen regarding rice yields, regarding wheat yields, and regarding maize yields. Okay, so This is how it is. So according to the government of India, okay, if no adaptation measure is taken, the effect of climate change on rice yields in 2015 will be reduction in 20% of productivity. By 2080 it will reduce by 47%. Wheat yields will reduce by 19%, and by 2080 it will reduce by 40%. And maize yields will reduce by 18% in 2050, and it will reduce by 23% in 2080. Okay, if you cannot remember the 2080 facts, 2050 facts are very easy to remember. Okay, so the rice yields, wheat yields and maize yields, if we don't take steps to mitigate the effects of climate change on Indian agriculture, by 2050 the rice yield will reduce by 20%, the wheat yields will reduce by 19%, and the maize yields will reduce by 18%. That is huge in a country that is the largest, most populated country in the world. Correct? So 20, 19, 18 is the reduction of percentages in rice, wheat and maize by 2050 if no steps are taken regarding climate change adaptation on Indian agriculture. This is what the article tells. These are the three interesting facts that this article has given. And then the article also says, if let us say a region is irrigated, then what is its effect on climate change? Okay, or I'm sorry, then what is the effect of climate change on the yield of the crop? Okay, if a region is irrigated, then the effect of climate change on the yield of the crop is relatively less. The same government of India has given the statistics where, let us say, irrigated rice yield 2050 and 2080, when they take, it is declining by 3% as well as 5%. Look at this. Look at the change in the drop of percentages just because a region is irrigated. Hence, irrigation plays a very crucial role in fighting the effects of climate change on Indian agriculture, especially irrigation like micro irrigational techniques of sprinkler and drip irrigation. That is what is the takeaway of this article. The article also mentions three important United Nations food agencies. Okay, the three important agents are FAO, Food Agricultural Organization, IFAD, that is International Fund on Agricultural Development, for which India is a founding member. The third is the UN World Food Program. Okay, these are the three important United Nations food agencies. Okay, now if you take each and every food agency, they are doing their own in order to improve the water conservation through Indian agriculture. For example, if you take World Food Program, they are helping build canals, ponds as well as flood barriers. How are they helping them build? They are building them through food assistance for the exchange of labor. Okay, so with labor, in as a return for labor, they are going to give you food assistance. So through that, they are able to build canals, ponds as well as flood barriers. Now if you take IFAD, they are mainly taking up micro irrigation infrastructure. They are mainly into improving the micro irrigation infrastructure. Okay, now how are they doing this? They are trying to leverage MGNREGA. Okay, using the labor from MGNREGA, they are able to improve the micro irrigational infrastructure at farm level. This is what IFAD is doing in India. And the last is FAO. FAO is trying to develop crop forecasting network. Okay, so basically it is creating something called agro localization. What does it mean? It means, see, it takes several parameters like weather, soil, topography, market. So it takes all this variants or parameters, and then it will decide on the crop to be grown in some locality. By deciding a crop to be grown in one locality, it helps in the popularization of agro localization. So this agro localization will be more sustainable. It will be in lines with agroclimatic condition of that region. Hence, it will help sustain and use water resources much more efficiently. So this is how the three United Nations food agencies are helping India conserve water through agriculture. Okay, overall this is a very excellent article, and water resource, as I kept telling you, is a very important theme in your mains as well as your prelims exam. Okay, so I hope it was helpful. These were the issues of 16th of October 2023. Today being the World Food Day, let us make sure that we don't waste food. Let us make sure that we conserve water and use it efficiently. Alright, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Please make sure that you share this video with as many people as possible. The more views there is, the more motivated I am to do this regularly. Thank you so much. I will see you in the comment section. Please post your favorite founding mother and an interesting aspect about that founding mother. I'll see you there. Bye guys. See you.